Bedtime story, son, is prophetic. Encrypt the signals from the shadows of the garden. We dig where the dirt got secrets, no parting. Microphone alchemist, scriptures with a twist. Peep the frequency, seeds in the mist. We drop bars like plagues, revelations in the cadence. Broadcasting truth while they trapped in surveillance. Wisdom with a watchman's blade. Fourth watch style while your whole system fade. Blood moons, Nephilim, echoes in the pine. Sasquatch stomping through the fault lines of time. We ain't mainstream, we ancient stream. Cipher with the prophets, decode the dream. So if you tuned in, better guard your mind. It's broadcasting seeds and we breaking the design.
You're listening to Broadcasting Seeds, where we dig into the strange, the forgotten, and the stories that don't always fit neatly into the history books. I'm your host, Bennett Tanton. Today we're traveling back to medieval England, to a quiet village with an oddly poetic name, Woolpit, a place that should have been unremarkable. Just another dot on the map, if not for an encounter so bizarre, it's still being told 8 centuries later. It's the story of the Green Children of Woolpit. 2 kids who appeared out of nowhere, speaking no known language. Their skin was tinted an unnatural shade of green. Were they sick, starving, or were they, as some whisper, from another world altogether? In this episode, we're going to peel back the layers of this mystery. First, we'll walk through the legend itself as it was recorded by the chroniclers of the time. Then we'll look at the theories that try to explain it away. And finally, we'll ask the bigger questions. Why does this story endure? And what does it reveal about the way humans wrestle with the unknown? But before we get rolling, remember the way this show grows is through you. If you enjoy today's episode, take a moment, like, share, and leave a review. It helps spread the word and keeps all these strange stories alive. All right, let's step into the village of Woolpit, where the fields were once haunted, not by spirits, but by the laughter, or was it the crying, of 2 mysterious green children. Picture 12th century Suffolk, England. Life is hard but simple. The people of Woolpit farm the land, tend their tools, and try to avoid the wolves that gave the village its name. Then one day, while working the fields near the wolf pits, the villagers stumble into something so out of place that it shakes their understanding of the world. Two children, one boy, one girl, are found near the edge of the pits. They're dressed in clothes no one in Woolpit has ever seen before. The fabric is strange, the cut unusual, and their words are absolute gibberish to every ear that hears them. But the strangest detail of all is their skin. It has a greenish hue, as if they've been dusted with copper or born from some twilight place where sunlight never quite touches the ground. The villagers don't know what to make of them. They aren't orphans from the next town over. They're not travelers gone astray. The children themselves are no help. They're terrified. They're crying and unable to explain in any way the locals can understand. So Woolpit does what small communities often do when confronted with the inexplicable. They take the children in. They offer food, but the children refuse everything except raw beans pulled straight from the stalk. For days, that's all that they'd eat, surviving on a diet that only deepens the mystery. Unfortunately, the story turns dark. The boy, frail and unable to adapt, grows sick and dies. Now, the girl, however, survives. Slowly, she begins to learn English. As she picks up the language, the villagers press her with questions. Where are you from? Why is your skin green? And how did you come here? Her answers only complicate things further. She tells them she came from a land where the light was dim, the air thick with green twilight, a place where everyone shared the same skin tone as her and her brother. She calls it the land of Saint Martin. To the people of Woolpit, it's as if she's describing a whole nother world. The story of the Green Children didn't stay a local rumor. It was written down by two medieval chroniclers, William of Newburgh and Ralph of Coggeshall. Coggeshall. Both men were serious historians of their day, not storytellers by trade. That alone is part of what keeps this tale alive, because why would men of faith and scholarship bother recording what sounds like a fireside legend unless they believed there was something to it? Now, explanations range all over the place. Let's start with the practical. Some say the kids were simply Flemish orphans. All the time, there were Flemish immigrants living in England, and many were driven out or killed after political unrest. If the children's parents were among the victims, maybe the kids wandered off, ended up lost, and stumbled into Woolpit. Their strange language, Flemish, their green skin, though, possibly a sign of malnutrition, specifically something called green sickness or chlorosis, which was linked to iron deficiency. That theory makes the whole story more tragic than mysterious. But that's not the only theory. Others lean towards folklore explanations. In medieval England, stories of fairies and otherworldly beings were part of the daily life. A boy and girl with greenish skin showed up out of nowhere would fit right in with tales of children taken by fairies or slipping through into another world by accident. The details about beans, something that seems odd to us, but matches old associations between fairies and certain crops. And then there's the stranger interpretations. Some suggest the children's tale hints at another realm entirely, whether that's a parallel dimension, some underground civilization, or even, if you lean modern, an alien encounter retold in the language of the 12th century. The girl's description of her homeland, a twilight world where the sun never fully shines, sounds almost like she was talking about a place beneath the surface of the earth, or another world altogether. Every explanation has its holes. If they were Flemish, why didn't someone eventually recognize the language? If it was malnutrition, how did both children end up in the same condition, in the same place, at the same time? And if it was just folklore, why did two respectable historians bother to even record it? That's what makes the Green Children such a persistent mystery. Each attempt at an answer just raises more questions. Why the story endures. So why are we still talking about the Green Children of Woolpit almost 900 years later? I mean, after all, Plenty of medieval oddities have faded into obscurity, but this one refuses to die. Part of the reason is that it sits in that perfect crossroad between history and myth. On one hand, it's recorded by real chroniclers whose works are still studied today. Then on the other hand, the details are so strange, they feel like they belong in a folktale, not a historical account. That tension makes people want to dig deeper. It also hits on something universal. Human beings are fascinated by the idea of the other. Whether that's people from far off lands, mysterious visitors from underground, or beings from the stars. Stories like this force us to confront what we just don't understand. The green children are a mirror, showing us how quickly fear turns into curiosity and how curiosity eventually turns into legend. Another reason the story sticks is that it has no clean ending. The boy dies, the girl adapts, and then she fades into the background of English life. Some versions say she was baptized, learned the language, and lived a fairly ordinary life after her strange beginning. Others hint she never quite fit in, that she remained a curiosity, maybe even mistrusted. That lack of closure leaves space for imagination, and imagination is what fuels folklore across generations. And then, of course, there's the modern angle. We live in a time where people talk about parallel universes, alien contact, and hidden dimensions. And when you put the Woolpit children against that backdrop, their story suddenly feels less like a medieval oddity and more like a breadcrumb pointing toward bigger mysteries. Or they just lost kids with an iron deficiency? Or were they something else entirely? And visitors who stumbled into our world by accident. That's why the green children endure. There's a riddle with just enough detail to feel real and just enough strangeness to spark endless debate. And that's the story of the green children of Woolpit. It's a quick one. A tale that refuses to sit quietly in the dusty corners of history, but it's real. It's there. It's in the history books. Were they Flemish orphans suffering from malnutrition? Or were they figures from folklore, fairy children who slipped through the cracks? Or were they, as some like to believe, evidence of another realm brushing up against our own? The truth is, we'll never know for certain. But maybe that's the whole point. Not every mystery exists to be solved. Some are meant to remind us how much of the world and history is still unexplained. If today's episode planted a seed in your mind, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with a friend, drop a review, or hit that follow button, so you don't miss the next journey into the strange and the hidden. That's how this community grows, one curious mind at a time. I'm Bennett Tanton, and this has been Broadcasting Seeds. Until next time, keep your eyes open, your mind sharp, and remember, the truth often hides in plain sight, waiting for someone willing to look just a little closer.
In Woolpit's fields, the reapers found two children wandering, lost, unsound, with garments strange and faces lean, and skin of another world. wasteland. The boy grew weak, the girl remained. She learned our words, the truth explained. A dim lit world where twilight stays, where bells of wonder mark the days. Oh, sing, sing the tale they told from twilight